Welcome back to the stream. We are here for Top Cut at the Oveido Mall VGC Challenge. We are joined for the Top Cut by our co-host, Samuel Substitute. Why don't you introduce yourself, Samuel? Fascinating. We're also super excited for Top Cut. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our Top Cut our first matchup for the Top Cut here? No, you, not the substitute.
No, I just want to give an opportunity, you know?
Okay.
All right, so we got in our top cut, we got Ryan Gordon versus Anthony Esposito. We have Landon Borjal versus Jonathan Martin. Adrian Herida versus Raymond Heaney. And we got Hayden Owens versus Matthew Laughlin.
So we've got a lot of returning names from our stream so far, with the only one we haven't seen being Raymond, which means we're unluck because Adrian versus Raymond is going to be our first stream match of the Top Cut. So it is going to be a chance to see our final Top Cut contender, and it is going to be an interesting match. We were discussing earlier how we wanted to see some of those less used Pokemon. Raymond is our champion out here with Zacian. He's going to be the only one running it here today.
Zacian is a really interesting Pokemon. It did get a nerf at the beginning of Scarlet and Violet because now it can only get that Intrepid Sword ability activated once for the whole battle. But even then, with its high attack stat and that attack boost, it can still do a ton of damage throughout the battles, and you have to be prepared for that.
Absolutely. And again, Adrian is running his Calyrex Ice Rider team. So Zacian is going to have a good match with the Calyrex Ice Rider. On paper, we'll have to see whether or not Adrian's other Pokemon, specifically teammates like Raging Bolt or Torkoal, can put more pressure on that Zacian. Something to note is that this Calyrex, as Brendan was pointing out earlier, most Calyrex Ice Riders run high horsepower as their coverage move to hit steel types. This Calyrex Ice Rider is running close combat, which cannot hit Zacian super effectively, meaning that Ice Rider has a little bit of a worse matchup into Zacian than normal. But again, it has some really scary teammates with that firepower Torkoal that are going to put some pressure on that Zacian.
One of the things I'm noticing right now, because of Adrian's team, as we've seen before today, has a lot of redirecting Pokemon. Raymond's team is mostly Pokemon that just hit single targets, whatnot, so it's going to be very tricky for him to really break into that Calyrex Ice Rider with so many strong targeting attacks.
We might see our first weather war of the day, because we've got that Torkoal with the drought, likes to set up the sun, seriously threaten Pokemon like Rillaboom and Zacian with those fire moves. But on the other hand, we have that Pelipper with the drizzle and the weather ball that turns into a water-type move. It's going to put the pressure on that Torkoal and is going to maybe prevent those fire moves from doing as much damage as they would into the Zacian.
No doubt about it. With Raymond's Pelipper will be a very important asset for this battle. Not only being able to control the weather, but it does have Wide Guard, so it is one more tool that it can use against Adrian's Calyrex Ice Rider, being able to block off any Glacial Lances.
Exactly. This might be the first match we've seen where that Landorus and that Rillaboom are not immediately threatened and deleted by that Glacial Lance, because we've seen time and again those Glacial Lances have done so much damage to those Grass-type Pokemon, and that Landorus, whenever it comes out, generally forced into that Terra Water. But this time, that, as you were saying, that Wide Guard on the Pelipper might protect it just enough that it's able to do some serious damage.
All right. I think we're about to get started with our game one right now, and we see the leads. We have Raymond leading with Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and Landorus, while Adrian just leading off with the Calyrex Ice Rider and the Speargle.
We've already seen how devastating this combination can be with that Trick Room and that Glacial Lance, which again is very effective into the Landorus on the field right now, and that Decorate, plus the Fake Out and the Spore. In all likelihood, this Smeargle is not going to be faster than Urshifu or the Landorus. Could never say for sure though, but that Spore is going to be slightly less threatening. That Fake Out and that Decorate are not going to be any less threatening.
I think it's Terascalization already at the start of this battle. It's going to be the Landorus Terascalizing into a water type, so we'll be able to take a lot more of these Glacial Lances coming out from the Calyrex Ice Rider. And then yeah, we got another terrestrialization on Adrian's side. He's going to take a terrestrialization for his Squirtle into a grass type. That's actually going to be pretty helpful right there, because one of the things that can be really easy pickings for a Urshifu Rapid Strike into Squirtle is just to break its Focus Sash and then still do continued damage to it. But no, Raymond just is opting to go for the Surging Strikes into the Calyrex Ice Rider instead. Just want to do some immediate damage to this powerful Pokemon. But the Nussear Storm misses both targets.
Oof.
Oh,
Both the resisted Smeargle and the Calyrex, and it gets put to sleep as punishment for its sins.
oh my goodness. It's going to be a tough pickup from this point onwards, because now Adrian has pretty good positioning right now. He has able to take a few hits with his Smeargle, and even then, I don't think this Urshifu Rapid Strike is going to be able to knock it out with the Surging Strikes on its own. And even then, it might just get redirected by that Smeargle's Follow Me attack.
Exactly, and because it's gone for that Terra Grass, it is now resisted. Again, that Urshifu choice lock into Surging Strikes. It cannot click anything else. But it seems like the Smeargle is not going to go for the resisted redirect, instead just letting Calyrex get down right into the red. As you were pointing out earlier, Brendan, this Urshifu does not have the Mystic Water, and it does not have the Terra Water. It is the generally weakest of the Urshifus that we have seen today, which is going to be why it's not going to two-shot that Calyrex.
Alright, Glacial Lance going into both Pokemon after a Decorate boost, but looks like both Pokemon are able to survive a attack, so now we can have to see what Raymond can do to adjust, because they are both on the brink of fainting from a follow-up attack this turn.
And like we were saying, that might be the least offensive Urshifu, but it might be one of the most defensive as well. It was able to survive the Glacial Lance and a +2 Glacial Lance. Yes, it was resisted, but we've seen how much that Glacial Lance can do even to 4 times resists like Heatran. Now we get to see that Zacian come out as the Smeargle finally goes for Follow Me. Will the Landorus wake up?
Oh
and it
my goodness,
will.
it woke up immediately. Oh no, not another.
And it immediately misses another Sandsteer Storm.
Into that Calyrex Ice Rider, who's now going to set the Trick Room and have total control of the speed throughout the next 5 turns of this battle.
That is going to be something very unfortunate for that Landorus. That is 2 Sandsteer Storm misses. That is an 80% accurate move. It is missed both times. Either one would have prevented Trick Room from going up and would have put Raymond in a considerably better position. He's still playing pretty well so far. He's got his Landorus's the Terra Water, survived a long time. That Zacian protected itself. It is not going to take any damage from the incoming Glacial Lance, but that will KO the Landorus, and it will give Calyrex Ice Rider another boost to its attack, putting it at what, +4 now?
No, we're up +3, I believe. It already got the Decorate boost, and now it's knocked out this one.
But didn't it KO the Urshifu?
No, Urshifu switched out. It went into
Oh, you're right.
Zacian.
I have
Zacian
the memory of a
still...
Chi-Yu.
No, it's okay. God, Zacian's still around. We got the Pelipper.
We've got Toilet Dog, the Pelipper, coming out. It's going to set up that Drizzle. That is going to weaken any potential Fire-type attacks from Torkoal. Though if Torkoal did switch in, its Drought would reset. That, as we were mentioning earlier, despite the fact that it is not the super effective high horsepower, the high base power of close combat, and that +3 attack, still just going to KO Zacian in 1 hit with that neutral non-stab attack.
That's a really rough position for Raymond right there, but he is able to knock out the Pelipper with the Rain Ball. Weather Ball.
The question is, can that now sleeping Pelipper and this mortally wounded Urshifu close it out against the last 3 of Adrian's Pokemon with another 2 or 3 turns of Trick Room remaining?
Adrian's going to send out the Torkoal now with Raymond at his last 2 Pokemon, I believe. That means that Adrian has total control of the weather at this point in the battle. And even though Urshifu is pretty strong, with Torkoal's massive defense stat, it is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage with these weekend Surging Strikes, and Raymond's just going to close it out with this forfeit for Game 1.
I think that might be the first time so far today that we've seen a miss from a Pokemon. Aside from the one Draco Meteor earlier, everyone's been playing it very safe with extremely accurate moves. Even seeing that one Torkoal go for Weather Ball for the guaranteed KO instead of gambling on a Heat Wave. Here we saw a player gamble on Nussear Storm twice and get absolutely betrayed both times by failing to take out that Calyrex Ice Rider.
Interesting to know when I'm seeing all the amount of damage that his Raymond's Landorus is able to do on its own. It is actually very threatening into Adrian's team when throwing out the Nussear Storms. I'm thinking a potential adjustment might be to be more aggressive with Nussear Storm and bring in Pelipper so it doesn't miss as often, because even what it did on its own for what damage it could do was actually pretty interesting. So I like to see maybe he can try maybe adjusting to a strategy like that more often.
Yeah, like you were saying, even with the resisted hit on that Smeargle, that Nussear Storm still did like 80%. And if Raymond did lead with the Pelipper and the Landorus, that wide guard would prevent Landorus from being forced to Terra so early. But
Correct. With the wide guard, if Adrian leads this with the Calyrex again, then that possibly means. Oh, and we will see.
And once again, we're going to see the same leads from both players, I believe. We see that Urshifu and that Landorus on Raymond's side. We're going to see that Calyrex and that Smeargle on Adrian's side. Now, something interesting to note, Adrian did not go for the Fake Out last game. He decided to go for the Spores and the Decorates primarily instead, knowing that Fake Out pressure is scary enough on its own, but Raymond anticipated the lack of Fake Out last game and just attacked, did not waste any time protecting. We're going to see that Terra Water Landorus instantly again. We're going to see maybe Raymond's hoping for a run back of the same thing as last time, but with a little better luck.
Yeah, we're going to see terrestrialization from both sides of the party. It's the same Pokemon, I believe, as Game 1 with, we got the grass on the Smeargle right now, taking resisted hits from potentially any surging strikes from the Urshifu Rapid Strike on the other side of the field. Calyrex is going for a Protect right now.
But it's not going to protect it from Urshifu's Unseen Fist. It's going to go for a U-turn this time. It's not going to stay in and try and force out that damage with Surging Strikes. No, that's not a two-hit KO. Instead, he's just going to pivot directly into that Pelipper, that Toilet Dog. One more time, you're going to set up the rain. You're going to have that wide guard on deck. But this Smeargle...
We're going
to see what the Smeargle goes
regardless,
for.
it still has a focus action, so it can live a hit. I believe it's probably just going to go for a Spore again into the Landorus slot, which makes it a lot harder now for Raymond to do consistent damage. He can do what he can with the Calyrex Ice Rider. If he... Adrian's going to go for the Glacial Lance. We'll see if Raymond just wants to play defensively, see if he can prolong enough to get a Landorus to wake up sooner, so that way he can start dishing out more damage. No, that is not happening right now, and both of Raymond's Pokemon are fast asleep on the field. It is nap time right now.
I'm feeling a little eepy. An interesting thing, or a potential play that could occur, is that Weather Ball from that Pelipper is not a water-type move. That Weather Ball is not a water-type move. It changes its typing depending on the weather. If Adrian ever decides to send in that Torkoal, then it would change that move to a Fire-type move, allowing it to do super effective damage against both Pokemon currently on the field. That is something that Adrian needs to be aware of. As powerful as Torkoal is, it could also give his opponent a devastating advantage. But it seems like he's just going to go for the Trick Room.
Trick Room is set up, which means now that Adrian has better speed control in this matchup. It seems like with both the Raymond's Pokemon asleep right now, it's going to be very tricky for Raymond to really adjust at this point. But he's going to switch out his Smeargle enough and go straight into Torkoal, get better control of the weather right now.
So again, that thing I was saying about Weather Ball could occur here. Toilet Dog is going to wake up. That Pelipper is going to go for the wide guard. I do not know why I keep calling it by its nickname. I apologize. But that Pelipper is going to go for a wide guard. He's not going to protect the Landorus, which is going to go down to that close combat from the Calyrex Ice Rider. Going to put Raymond a little bit on the back foot here.
Landorus going down right now and getting another attack boost to Calyrex. Maybe Calyrex honestly just doesn't need to do a whole lot of damage. There is a situation now because the sun is active, a bit of reverse. Now, Pelipper has the opportunity to go for potentially any fire weather balls into the Calyrex, which would be a very interesting play to see. I don't know if it'll do how much damage it will do, but it can very much turn this game around potentially.
Exactly. The interesting thing to watch is whether or not that Pelipper is going to go for a wide guard or whether it's going to go for an attacking, or also whether or not it's up. Like, it's asleep for now. It did not go for the wide guard. It did go for the attacking move because we did not get the sleep proc yet, but it is going to go down to that Torkoal's Eruption. Going to leave Raymond with his last Pokemon taken.
Yeah, he's got his, I believe he still has his Urshifu Rapid Strike in the back right now, and the Zacian, which is a lot of power. He's going to have to probably find a different way to knock out this Torkoal, which is going to be a very dangerous team. I believe the Torkoal, it is choice specs, so, and the game is about over. I think Raymond knew where writing was and is going to forfeit right now.
Where was the writing, Brendan?
It was on the wall. It's just very bad situation. He had no rain. He had Torkoal that was just ready to do so much damage. His weakened water moves just couldn't do anything.
So you can really see that Calyrex Ice Rider once again earning its keep, and so is that Smeargle, that Decorate, allowing that Calyrex Ice Rider to get boosts so fast. It's able to click that neutral close combat and Oko Zacian from full Under Trick Room. Zacian was not able to come out in time to threaten the Calyrex. Even if it had, it would have had to deal with the Smeargle's redirection, but it was just not able to do enough damage fast enough to consistently threaten that Calyrex Ice Rider.
I tell you, Adrian, he played this game really well. He knew exactly how to maneuver his Pokemon, just get the right boost at the right time. And it's always interesting to see. I see so many people, they play their Calyrex Ice Riders. They want to go for Trick Room right away. You don't need to do it every time, like immediately turn one. Do it when it's most optimal. Because even if your Calyrex Ice Rider is moving last, it's still doing a lot of damage.
Still not taking very much damage either.
It's such a bulky Pokemon. You really got to be able to and know what you want to do. But because just raw damage alone is not enough to take out a Calyrex Ice Rider.
Especially not with so much support as this. Again, that Terra Grass Smeargle, making sure that it was not going to be threatened by that Sandsear Storm, by that Surging Strikes, or by that close combat. Again, the Decorate, making sure that no matter what, that Calyrex Ice Rider was going to be safe, and it was going to be doing a lot of damage.
As much as I would like to see more of, Raymond 16, because I know he's a very talented player with his Zacian. That's his signature Pokemon right there. He can make it work, honestly. He does so well. But that's going to do it for this round. We're going to continue with our top 4 shortly, right after this break.
Go ahead and sign us out, Samuel. Couldn't have put it better myself.